He looks at the contract that Aaron Rodgers signed last year, the commitment that he gave to the team. Aaron Rodgers will be back with the Packers.
I have no problem with Ian Rappaport, Schefter. I think they're really good at their jobs. When it comes to me, they don't know shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day where Aaron Rodgers emerges from the darkness retreat that he took for 4 days and hopefully gives us a decision as to what his future is going to look like. He could retire, he could want to return to the Green Bay Packers, which I personally think is fairly unlikely, or he could demand a trade to a team. And there are several teams that have already reached out to the Green Bay Packers to work out the framework of a deal in the event that Aaron Rodgers wants to play for a different team. So we have a lot to discuss. We have a lot of information to bring you guys from multiple sources. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! So many of my subscribers listened to me and made bank on the Super Bowl, bro. You remember when I told you to sign up with my promo code Mikerophone to get a $100 deposit match? And then said this? And if Kenneth Gainwell gets more than 21.5 rush yards, you could 3x your money. Now, if you feel really good about this, you could also add Travis Kelce scoring 1 touchdown. And if both of these hit, you 5x your money. Well, a lot of you guys slid into my DMs on Instagram to show me how much money you made because of this hit. So a huge shout out to all of you, man. I only have my promo code live for 2 more weeks, so I'm still gonna be posting my picks onto my Instagram account at The Flight Mike, and we're definitely gonna make some picks for the XFL and the USFL. And I post NBA picks onto my Instagram story on a daily basis. So make sure you sign up with my promo code Microphone to get a $100 deposit match while it's still active. And thank you, Prize Picks, for making us all a bunch of money on Super Bowl Sunday. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? There's a lot of information going on about the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, and of course, Derek Carr. We're going to bring you every single bit about it, starting with the New York Jets, who are essentially flirting with Derek Carr and making it seem very well like he is a glorified plan B while complimenting the living out of him. No joke, the New York Jets are straight up treating Derek Carr like he's a side piece. But don't let that distract you from the fact that Derek Carr had visits with the New York Jets, and they went relatively well. I mean, just ask Diana Rossini.
I heard it went really well from both sides. And in terms of what New York was trying to sell him, because they were pretty clear with him. They told him he's a great quarterback. They believe that he's got a legit surrounding cast of players. They went through the top D, strong young skill guys, the explosive run game.
Yeah, Diana goes very much in depth as to why the New York Jets are excited about Derek Carr. They even said something that I can't believe they said, which is this.
They made it really personal too. They said, we believe if you come to New York and win, you could be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? So they went full in.
Yeah, that does sound fairly outlandish on the surface, I must admit. But if you do win a Super Bowl for a large market team that has had Super Bowl aspirations for all these years, I guess, no, I don't know. I can't see it. I mean, I personally can't see it. I love Derek Carr, but that's a little bit much for me to buy. I mean, let me know if you disagree with me in the comment section down below. Now, in addition to Diana Rossini saying that Derek Carr had a remarkable visit with the New York Jets, his brother David Carr actually gave us a nice little insight as to how things went with Derek Carr's visit. Check this out.
Yeah, Derek had a great trip. So he went there to get a feel for how they work. Everyone he met, and we knew he would love Robert Saleh. I've known Robert for a while. MJ knows Robert. He's fantastic, and they hit it off. They would love to work together. And they had a good chat. They talked about a lot of different things. They have a lot of good components. There's a lot of things that are very positive about the Jets. He had a great trip. So he wants to do his due diligence and see as many places as he can to get a feel for what the best place for him will be.
Now, of course, David Carr might be a little biased. I mean, he really went off on the Las Vegas Raiders once they decided to cut ties with Derek Carr. I mean, I guess I could say I don't necessarily blame him, but it does damage his credibility in these types of situations. But here's where things get very funny. You have the New York Jets going up to Derek Carr and saying,
hey, we think you could be a first ballot Hall of Famer. We think you're a very talented individual.
And then at the same time, you're hearing reports reports like this about how the New York Jets have had preliminary discussions with the Green Bay Packers in case Aaron Rodgers becomes available via trade. So once Aaron Rodgers makes his decision on what's next, teams have done some groundwork already, and the team should get done quicker than usual. Now, we don't know how trustworthy the New York Post is, but what we do know is so far, the New York Jets would be fine with Derek Carr. I mean, there's nothing but positive reviews per sources. They're currently waiting for Aaron Rodgers to emerge from the darkness to inform the Green Bay Packers of his plans. The Jets will be speaking to Green Bay about a trade if the Packers are willing. At this point, you guys already understand why Aaron Rodgers would make a lot of sense in a New York Jets uniform. I mean, there's familiarity between him and Nathaniel Hackett. He's spoken glowingly about Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the number one thing. There's nobody in the building that brings me more joy or is more fun to be around than Nathaniel Hackett. You know, we got some great guys, you know, some guys I've enjoyed playing with for a long time, but he's become, you know, such a close confidant and friend, besides a fantastic coach. And I just really can't express enough how important he is to our team in so many ways. He's incredible in front of a room. He brings a lot of great energy that's really important to not just meetings that can sometimes, you know, without the energy he infuses, maybe get long at times. Never feels that way with him in front of the room. But Hack has really embraced the idea of celebration together as well, which I think is such a vital part of us coming together and being a close-knit group. I think he's got a great mind. Hack has been a really important part of our culture change and a part of our success on offense. I love him. Hope he doesn't go anywhere, unless I do.
He also has history with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's favorite quarterback since he was an 8-year-old child was Aaron Rodgers, and he has taken on a mentorship role for Zach Wilson. Bear in mind, if Aaron Rodgers plays for the New York Jets, my personal expectation would be that he's going to be there for about 2 years, maybe 3 is pushing it. Maybe then you could see whether or not Zach Wilson has what it takes. He's developed enough to potentially be the face of your franchise. I could only imagine having your favorite quarterback of all time in the same quarterback room as you could only help you at that point. I mean, it seemed to have worked with A.J. Brown. I don't necessarily want to 100% credit Julio Jones's appearance on the Tennessee Titans last year, but A.J. Brown was a different animal on the Philadelphia Eagles this year than he was on the Titans. Obviously, Shane Steichen's offense, that triple option RPO, definitely played a factor into it, but there's a lot of reasons why Aaron Rodgers going to the New York Jets would just make a lot of sense at this point. So what would the price for Aaron Rodgers look like? Well, about a month ago, Peter King said that the Packers will want at least 2 first-round picks in a trade for Aaron Rodgers. King adds that Jets owner Woody Johnson would be happy to pay that price, but the question remains if Aaron Rodgers even wants to play for New York. And that's a very important question. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion in our minds. We all just assumed it. It just seemed like all fingers were pointing in one particular direction. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to leave the Green Bay Packers. It's what makes sense. He's best friends with Zach Wilson. Nathaniel Hackett's on the New York Jets. Hey, his buddy Devontae Adams is on the Las Vegas Raiders. Jordan Love is ready to go. The Green Bay Packers want to make the most out of his rookie scale contract. He's almost 40 years old. He's getting paid $50 million plus a year to play quarterback for the next 2 years. Clearly, he's going to be doing that someplace else, especially if he just played his worst season to date with the Green Bay Packers, right? Well, it looks like we got a report that's suggesting otherwise. And this is coming from some of the big sources that we usually reference on this channel. Rob Domofsky, a human being that we got all of our Aaron Rodgers news from last year and the year before and the year before that. But in addition to that, some big hitters like Tom Pelissaro and Jeff Darlington had this to say about Aaron Rodgers' decision. Now, bear in mind, this is the day before he came out of the darkness retreat, but it seems like his decision has already been made. Watch.
Conversation I had with a very important Green Bay Packers source. Believes that Aaron Rodgers will be back with the Packers and that all of this is being overhyped. He looks at the contract that Aaron Rodgers signed last year, the commitment that he gave to the team. Aaron Rodgers will be back with the Packers.
Bear in mind, Aaron Rodgers said something on the Pat McAfee show that you should really take to heart here. If you remember, he actually came out and said that Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter don't know what's going on about him. Watch.
And in my inner circle, nobody talks to Ian Rappaport, to Adam Schefter, or to any of those people. But if you're one of those people who's talking to those people, you're not in the inner circle.
So that's something you need to bear in mind when you hear everything that we brought to you from Jeff Darlington and Tom Pelissaro and Rob Demovsky. At the same time, you could say that Aaron Rodgers didn't say that Jeff Darlington doesn't know anything about him or Tom Pelissaro don't know anything about him. But I'm going to be honest, from an NFL fan standpoint, and I mean no disrespect to Tom Pelissaro, Rob Demovsky, all the great people that we get our information from, no disrespect to them. The two big heavy hitters that come to our mind whenever it comes to sources in the NFL are Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. I think Aaron Rodgers is saying like, hey, those guys don't really know who I am. I have my own guys, including the Pat McAfee show. So when you want to get the real information about my decision, wait until you come to me, which is interesting because that's not going to stop Adam Schefter from trying to get ahead of any type of news that comes out whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the next piece of information we got was from none other than Adam Schefter, who says Aaron Rodgers has emerged from his darkness retreat, according to the owner of the facility in Southern Oregon, where the Packers quarterback has spent the past several days and nights. Very interesting at this point, man, because I was watching ESPN earlier today, and it seems like as a result of the Jeff Darlington interview that they gave, everyone had this foregone conclusion that Aaron Rodgers was going to return to the Green Bay Packers. It's kind of insane. So I wouldn't be shocked if he does return to the Packers from the standpoint of he's Aaron Rodgers, he's fairly unpredictable. Maybe his silent meditation led him to realizing his appreciation for the Packers. But let's get to this article, man. The article title is wild, by the way. What is a darkness retreat and why would Green Bay quarterback Aaron Rodgers go to one? I have to admit, for an ESPN article, I'm kind of blown away at how long this is. And the way this opens is even funnier. Aaron Rodgers is known for spending his offseason in what can be described as unconventional methods of self-reflection. In 2020, the Green Bay Packers quarterback traveled to Peru to try ayahuasca, a plant-based psychoactive traditionally used in indigenous ceremonies, and nearly got stuck in South America as the coronavirus began to shut down the world. I love this entire fascination with the fact that Aaron Rodgers messes around with psychedelics. I mean, by all means, if that's what he needs to use to come to a conclusion as to what he should do, hey, I could actually understand that. I'm not necessarily going to get into my own stories, but let's just say I had a similar experience that resulted in me pursuing my YouTube career right now. The article continues to say that he has openly discussed his affinity for retreats, yoga retreats, meditation retreats, silent meditation retreats. So when he recently shared the news that he was about to go on a 4-night darkness retreat, a visit he had been planning for the past 4 months, it sparked a lot of online conversation, some good and some not so good. The article then kind of goes into like how the darkness retreat works out. It's pretty much a cabin in the woods. There's no like rule that you must be in the darkness at all times. Everyone is invited to walk in the woods. If the need arises, turn on the lights if the feeling is too much, or just leave. The door remains unlocked and ready to open. I'll leave an article in the description down below. It's a pretty interesting article as to why Aaron Rodgers is doing what he's doing and what exactly goes into what he needs to do. But in regards to what his decision might be, so far we know that he's emerged from his darkness retreat and he has veto power over any trade destination due to his contract and retirement threat. So pretty much he doesn't officially have a no trade clause, but it's one of those like Rob Gronkowski almost getting traded to the Detroit Lions type situations where he can pretty much go to a team and say,
I don't want to play here. I'm going to retire instead if you trade me here.
And the team wouldn't trade for him. So this situation, I think I'm starting to get the feeling, I mean, in my head, it always makes sense for Aaron Rodgers to join a particular team. Last year was the Denver Broncos because Nathaniel Hackett was there. They have great wide receivers, a great defense. It would have been awesome to see him in the same division as Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and his former #1 wide receiver, the Las Vegas Raiders. Unfortunately, that's not what ended up happening, and he ended up returning to the Green Bay Packers for a significant sum of money. This year, it makes a lot of sense to me for him to join the New York Jets. They have great wide receivers, a great running game. Their head coach is fiery and passionate. He'd bring a Super Bowl to a large market who really wants one, and he'd be in the same division as the Buffalo Bills, so we'd see Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers twice a year. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. Even though it makes a lot of sense for him to join the New York Jets, I don't necessarily think he usually takes the path that does make sense. For me, if I was in his situation, I would choose the Jets, but at the end of the day, it's Aaron Rodgers. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think Aaron Rodgers' future is going to look like? What do you think the New York Jets are going to end up doing? Do you think they're just going to ride with Derek Carr? It seemed like they're really into one another. I like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.